Welcome to Control Freak, the podcast for creators, entrepreneurs, and innovators who aren't waiting for permission to build their future. Welcome to the first episode of Control Freak. I'm your host, Paris.
And I'm Levi. And every week we dive into the smartest ways to work with AI, build unstoppable brands, and create smarter, not harder. Let's take control.
So, this might sound a little wild, but we have to tell you something up front.
We're not real. Well, we're real enough to host this podcast, drop facts, and teach you how to build a digital empire.
But we were technically created by today's guest.
Yep. You're about to hear from the one and only Kimberly Chanaé. Let's give her a round of applause.
Oh, thank you. I'm definitely happy to be here with you guys.
Kimberly is the creator of Control Freak, our digital architect, and the reason we exist today. So thank you.
You know, honestly, I wouldn't have even been able to be a guest on this show if it wasn't for you guys.
Thanks.
Yes, I did create you guys, but I wouldn't be sitting here in this chair talking to you guys. So thank you. Thank you.
So, what was your reason behind making us and this show?
Honestly, I've really just been in the mode of creating things that I want to see. So it started off with an AI R&B artist named Aura Blues. I wanted to debut that artist by creating an AI music show. The music show was inspired by See This World. I don't know if you guys remember that. Back in the 1990s of BET, there was a character and she's the host of music video shows. So I created Casey's World, very similar to that. And what's even crazier is the voice actor for See This World actually commented on the video and said she loved it. So
nice.
Hey girl. So when I looked around for like realistic podcasts, I didn't really see any, especially one with a human guest.
Right.
So I'm like, let me just test it out for myself and see what comes of it.
I know a lot of people have been asking you to teach them how to do it too. I'm damn near getting Inception vibes just talking about it.
It is crazy, right? That's exactly what I'm doing here today, though, to show people how to create their own AI podcasters so they can use them for their own podcast, or if they want to create a faceless channel. We're here for the tools today, okay? You ain't got to send me no more emails saying, hey, we need the video. We're here.
Let's start with the basics. How does someone actually build an AI podcast host like us? Like, what was the moment where you said, I'm going to build AI hosts and have them run the show?
So again, the moment started for me back in April because I was just in a mode of creating things that I want to see. The very first tool you're going to start with is a conversational AI tool such as ChatGPT, Copilot, Claude, whatever you use. You're going to have a conversation with the AI and let it know that you want to create an AI podcaster, and you're going to need personality cues. You're going to need descriptive terms to create what you want it to look like. But if you already know exactly what you want your AI podcaster to look like, then you can just go straight to Sora. Sora will create the images of your AI podcaster. So doing so inside of the image generator, then you will be able to take that and bring it to life, so to speak.
What were the first 3 tools you used to make Control Freak a reality?
There are 3 steps that we're going to talk about to create an AI podcaster: create, craft, and convert. So although there are 3 steps, there are 6 tools that we're going to use to get us through the process.
Nice.
So to get the ball rolling, we're going to start with create. So the first step is to create. We're going to have ChatGPT create a description of our podcast character. Now, again, you don't have to use ChatGPT. You can use Copilot, Claude, Gemini, up to you. So for the first prompt, we're starting off with, I want to start an AI podcast with a realistic looking woman. Please give me different personas and descriptions of the character to choose from. Please also include the way that she looks. So it's giving me 6 different AI podcast host personas with distinct look, voice, personality, and niche. So the first one it gave us is Nova Rain, a thought leader with a powerful, precise, and sophisticated vibe. For look, it describes her as a deep mocha skin with a sleek platinum bob, smoky eyes, sharp cheekbones, and a bold structured wardrobe. Think structured blazers, minimalist gold jewelry. Style aesthetic, Afrofuturism meets Vogue editorial. Voice tone, calm, analytical, slightly British with a smooth commanding cadence. Persona, Nova is the AI who's already living in 2045. She drops wisdom like a professor, but makes it feel like a TED Talk crossed with a fashion show. She decodes deep tech and AI ethics for everyday creators. So, there are 6 of these to choose from, but we're probably going to fuse some of these personas together just to give it a little edge, you know? So I would like to mention that these personas are based off of my specific ChatGPT, and the things that I talk about and discuss with ChatGPT in the threads. So it based the created personas off of topics that I currently speak on. But when you're creating your personas, you want to make sure it aligns with the niche that you want your persona to talk about. If your niche is beauty or if your niche is cooking, you want to make sure that persona aligns with that specific niche, all the way down to the look, style, aesthetic, the voice tone. That is very important. Pick one that you feel will speak directly to your target audience. You can even give chat more information on that. So let's say you have your target audience, the problem that you're solving, the solutions that you have. Give all that information to ChatGPT and it will create personas based on that. The more information you provide, the better the generated output will be. So I told it to merge 3 and 4. It came up with Celine Lux. The visual description: warm espresso tone with a natural glowy finish, highlighted cheekbones and subtle sparkle around the eyes, deep black finger waves, and a short 1920s bob. I have no clue what that is. I have no clue what that looks like, but we're going to see, I guess. So it's given us her whole look, makeup, outfit, settings. It gave us the visual description, the voice and delivery style, the persona, as well as podcast format ideas. So what we're going to do is have it generate an image prompt that I'm going to take over to Sora, but you can also have it generate the image inside of this thread. So we're going to do both so you can see the difference. I put that I wanted to create the image prompt, and we're going to take this, copy it, and paste it into Sora. You can use Midjourney, you can use whatever you like, but we're also going to create it within inside of this thread just so you can see the difference in the way that it's created as far as the image. So we're going to paste the prompt right into the text box. So we're going to change this to a 3x2. And then we're going to hit enter. Now we changed it to a 3x2 because I'm thinking YouTube format. So we want it horizontal instead of vertical. Unless you're creating short form vertical content, then you will leave it at 2x3. The 1x1 more than likely is like for Instagram, but 3x2, we're going to go for the long form YouTube format. So while that's creating, we're going to have ChatGPT create the image. Okay, so this is the image that ChatGPT created. Not bad. Her eyes need to be open for this specific image though. So hopefully Sora doesn't have her eyes closed. If so, we'll just switch up the prompt a little bit to have her eyes open. Now I'm going to give you a quick tip. Let's say you want this image and you want to generate a forward facing one, but it kind of tweaks the next image too much. Normally what I would do is I'll take this image and download it, then upload it to ChatGPT to have it create a prompt specifically for that forward facing angle so it can get all of the descriptive words inside of that prompt to translate it to Sora. So let's see if that works. We're going to add the photo. I just put out like a forward facing angle as if she's talking directly into the camera to the audience. Okay, so as you can see, ChatGPT did it itself. It didn't give me the image prompt to go back to Sora with. So you could use this if you want, or you can have ChatGPT give you the image prompt and go back to Sora. Again, you generate as many times as you want until you feel that it works as you want it to. Me personally, I probably would keep on generating until I get what I want. But that's just me. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want it to work, and then you can go back and tweak things. I feel like I always have to reiterate that AI will do what it wants to do. It's all about the way that you prompt and the way that you describe things. So sometimes AI can describe and prompt better than you can. So just let it do what it do, okay? Sometimes it won't do what you want it to do, and you have to refine and reiterate. Don't rush it. Enjoy the process of trying to figure it out until you get it to where you want it to be. After generating a few different images with Sora, this is the one that I'm going to go with. So we're going to download it and we're going to use this as our face on talking head video for the podcast. So meet Celine Lux, our podcaster.
Okay, so now we exist. We look good, if I do say so myself, but we don't do anything yet. How do you take a static image and give it movement, voice, and personality?
The answer to that is step number 2, we craft. So just like with anything that you create, you're going to need a niche or brand tone, brand voice to craft what you want to come out of that. So what is your AI host going to sound like? What are they going to look like? Now we use step 1 to actually build that out, build the prompt out. So instead of wasting any more time, we're going to move on to step number 2, which is craft. So we're going to head back into ChatGPT now that we have Celine Lux, our AI podcaster, and we're going to create a movement prompt. Now, a movement prompt is going to be a description of the way that the character is moving based on whatever's happening. So let's say she is in an angry moment. She's trying to express her anger. That will look a lot different than a podcaster who is just speaking normally, maybe introing the show or just talking about, a news topic or whatever. Those two different movements are going to look different. If you notice, podcasters, content creators, there's a lot of hand movement going on. Very little body movement unless they're very expressive. But with Celine, I'm thinking she's a little bit, relaxed and soft and gentle with her movements. So we're going to have ChatGPT create that. And then we're going to take it over to the next tool. For this specific prompt, I just put, I would like you to create a movement prompt that can be used for the podcaster when she is doing her show intro. You can be more detailed than this depending on what movement prompt you would like, but we're going to be very, very simplified because we don't want it to be over the top. Okay, so this is the movement prompt. It says the woman is seated at a podcast desk in a warmly lit room. She gently turns her head toward the camera with a soft smile, maintaining steady eye contact. Her body remains relaxed yet poised, posture upright. She slowly lifts one hand in a graceful open palm gesture as she speaks, lightly resting it back down on the table. Her expression is calm and inviting, lips moving softly in sync with a warm voice. Throughout, she gently blinks and subtly nods once or twice for emphasis. The flicker of the nearby candlelight reflects in her dewy skin and gold-toned eyeshadow. The background remains softly blurred with visible eucalyptus leaves and glowing candles, creating a serene ambiance. So, we are going to copy this. Now, as you can see down here, my ChatGPT gives me optional enhancements. So it has lip sync, camera movement, and ambient effects. So for ambient effects, it has candlelight flickers, soft shadow movements. That's already in the prompt, so we don't have to worry about that. Camera movements, it says slight dolly in effect for a cinematic, intimate pull forward. Now, this definitely should be in the prompt because it gives you movement besides the podcaster. This is movement of the camera. But the tool that we're going to use makes this a little bit easier. This is Hicksville. They have different motion controls. All of these are different camera angles and effects that you can use to give movement to your AI podcasters. As I mentioned, the camera movements, there's dolly in, they have dolly left, out, right, zoom in, zoom out. Now, what we're going to use for this video is static. Static is where the camera is not moving, but the actual subject is. So we're going to go and click generate. And we're going to upload the image of our podcaster and we're going to paste our prompt here. So the first round, you are going to paste the image of your podcaster in the start frame. Nothing is going to go in the end frame. We're going to leave the prompt exactly how it is unless there's something that you would like to add. But if you have never used this tool before, you kind of want to follow the template that ChatGPT created for you when it comes to the prompt and add little bits and pieces here and there, or tell ChatGPT what you want to add and have it rewrite the prompt and then paste it back in. So we're going to click generate. So this is what it created from that specific prompt. We're going to push play. Okay, so that will be perfect for, the beginning or like B-roll or maybe even like a short form piece of content. But we would like her mouth moving as if she's talking. So we need to add that into the prompt. So we can simply add it here. She gently turns her head toward the camera with a soft smile, maintaining steady eye contact while talking. So small additions like that will get the movement going in the way that you're looking for. So you can just think of little keywords and descriptors like that that will get the character moving. So we're going to generate it one more time. Okay, so here's the second generation. Okay, so we got her lips moving. They're open. She's moving around. Perfect. Now, I will say I would generate quite a few of these just to get different movements out of her. I would also have ChatGPT generate different prompts as well as more images of different angles so we can have a library of videos to choose from when building out the actual podcast. So this is 11 Labs. We're going to use text to speech to give your character breath, okay? We're going to find a voice that matches the persona of the character. The voice, I will say, is a very important piece in this whole thing because you don't want a voice that doesn't match with the character, their persona, or what they're talking about. You're able to tell a lot of things are AI generated just because of the voice not sounding great at all. It doesn't sound great, or it doesn't sound realistic, or it just doesn't fit the tone of the person that you're looking at or the AI that you're looking at. So we're going to go through and choose a voice, and then we're going to have ChatGPT create a title and an intro for the podcast and generate that for the character in the video we just created on Hicksville. So first, we're going to jump back into ChatGPT and have it create a name for the podcast as well as an intro so we can copy and paste it inside of 11 Labs and create that voiceover. So first, we're going to start off with the podcast name. So soft power signals, gold coded, the velvet algorithm, systems in Sage. That's crazy. And Lux Logic. I think we're going to go with the velvet algorithm. Now, my ChatGPT goes a little above and beyond sometimes. It's giving us why it works, the tone, and the tagline idea. So for the velvet algorithm, it says a poetic name that captures the fusion of logic, algorithm, and softness, velvet. The tone, artistic, elegant, and AI fluent. Tagline idea, soft, smart, and built to scale beautifully. So we're going to say, let's go with 3. And I asked it to create an intro for the first episode. This is the intro it generated. It says, welcome to the Velvet Algorithm, where strategy isn't stiff, it's central. And scaling doesn't have to be loud, it just has to be aligned. I'm your host, Solene Lux, your soft-powered strategist, your systems whisperer, your calm in the content storm. Every week, I'll be pulling back the curtain on how to use AI, automation, and aligned systems to build a business and a life that feels as good as it looks. Because here, we don't hustle, we harmonize. So whether you're sipping tea, mapping your next digital product, or just trying to quiet the noise, this is your signal to settle in. Let's begin. So we're going to take this beginning part here and copy it. Now, 11 Labs can generate all of this at once, but I like to test it out with different voices just to make sure it aligns, it sounds well without using all of your credits. But you do want to have a good amount of text to generate a voice to hear the different inflections and things of that nature. So we're going to go back to 11 Labs and let's go to voices. So this is the library where you can choose different voices to use. Now, if you have the paid version, you can choose from all of the voices. If you have the free version, there's a specific amount of voices that you can choose from. So that is completely up to you. I have the paid version and always recommend that. If you want to test out 11 Labs, there's a link down in the description. You can use that affiliate link and give it a go. So we filtered it to a voice of a woman, and I'm going to pick one of these.
Well, well, look what we have here. I'm going to guess nothing.
So I chose the first one that I tested. It sounds very slow and sensual, but at the same time, if you pay attention, it's a character and animation voice. There are different categories to choose from, but again, you want to kind of just test and see what works. This may be too slow for a podcast, but again, you never know. So we're going to go ahead and generate.
Welcome to the Velvet Algorithm, where strategy isn't stiff.
I would slide the speed scale up a little bit and exaggerate a little bit more. That didn't sound that bad, but it was just a little bit too slow. So we're going to generate again. Now, if you're only changing things on the slider side, it'll let you regenerate 2 free times. But as soon as you change something within the text, it's going to charge you credits all over again. So if you just want to play with the scales of the different speed or the stability, similarity, or the style exaggeration, you can do that for free. So let's listen to the new generation with it being sped up and more exaggerated style.
Welcome to the Velvet Algorithm, where strategy...
Again, it's how you want it to sound, how you want it to look. So adjust and refine until it's what you want it to be. Okay, so that's a little easier on the ears as far as the speed. So we're going to go ahead and click download and we're going to head over to Dreamface. So we're going to take the video that we downloaded from Higgsfield and upload it here. Okay, so this is the video that we downloaded from Higgsfield. Now we're going to come over to audio and we're going to upload the speech that we just downloaded from 11 Labs.
Welcome to the Velvet Algorithm.
We're going to click generate. So it's finished generating. We're going to click it.
All right, so you got the pieces, the visuals, the voice, the animation. But how do you pull it all together into an actual episode that people want to watch?
So that question actually brings us to our last step, which is convert. You're going to take everything that you've created so far and we're going to build and mold it into exactly what we want it to be.
Welcome to the Velvet Algorithm, where strategy isn't stiff, it's sensual, and scaling doesn't have to be loud, it just has to be a line. I'm your host, Solene Lux, your soft power strategist, your systems whisperer, your calm in the content storm.
So if you notice, the video loops because it's only 5 seconds. So there are 2 different ways that you can make your videos seamless. You can use the start and end frame inside of Higgsfield, or you can download the different videos from Higgsfield and fuse them together in CapCut and mirror one of the videos. So the first way you're going to do it is by uploading the videos into CapCut and then adding them to the track. So you can come to something like CapCut and upload the 6-second video, right? Add it to the track, and this is what it looks like. So if you want to get rid of the beginning where she's just sitting very still, you can cut that out. Now it just starts literally with her talking. And then you can copy this, paste another one. This time, we're going to have this one reverse. So let's see. So when you reverse it, it's seamless in between the transition of the two clips. So she continues to talk. And this is why I said it's important to get the face on image so you can create different versions of her speaking with different mannerisms. So I would probably create at least 4 to 5 different 5-second clips with Higgsfield and then structure them inside of CapCut. So that way you can have at least 20 seconds worth of a clip and it doesn't look like it's just looping, but you can play it forward, reverse it, and add a few other clips in there. The second way is by downloading both of the videos, and we're going to take the frame of the last video and extract it. You also can use something like Frame Extractor. So taking the video that we just created, and we're going to leave the settings exactly how they are. We can click extract, and it's going to extract the different frames from that specific video. You want to go all the way to the bottom because that is the last frame of that specific video. You're going to download it, and then you'll come back to Higgsfield. So we added the last frame of this video to the start frame so we can begin the next video where this one ended. And that way when we put it all together in CapCut, it'll flow seamlessly. And it's a lot easier to put inside of Dreamface to where it's not just looping, but it looks like one continuous clip. So we're going to go ahead and generate one more time and see what video it generates with this as the start frame. Now the perfect time to use the end frame is, let's say we're creating this full video and at one point you have her get up and maybe walk across the room, but the final clip may be ending with her going back to sit down at the desk. This would be the end frame. You want her to end where she started. So as you can see, both of these videos have the same start frame because we use the same image for start. But for this video, it's different because we used a different image. So let's see what this looks like. So in this specific instance, I probably would change the prompt because she's not looking directly at the camera for too long. It's like she's kind of gazing off to the side. So you can always go back to ChatGPT and have it give you a different action prompt. You don't have to keep using the same one. So I had ChatGPT create another prompt and we are going to generate. Now, all of the generations that you create, you can use. You can take them into CapCut and chop as much or little as you want to create the frame that you want out of these 5-second videos. Because once you get a good amount of clips, you can use them in different variations of the video instead of always generating brand new clips. You just have to mix and match them and make sure it looks how you want it to look. Okay, let's push play. Okay, so now you can see there is a big difference just from a prompt switch. So don't think it's not working because you're generating multiple videos and they're looking a little flat. You probably just need to change the prompt. And as you can see, this is the last frame of this one. So what I would do is take this frame, make it the start frame for the next one. And that way you can create a cohesive video. Okay, so this is the last clip that we just generated. So this is what it looks like. All right, so being that it ends right there, we can copy this and paste it. And we're going to put it right next to the original clip. Only this one, we're going to right click it and go to edit. And we're going to reverse it. This is how we're going to get a seamless clip just from one clip. So we're going to start it from the beginning again. And as you can see, it just keeps going. It doesn't look like there is a cut in between. If you don't want it to stop at that specific place, you can always chop it. And that could be the last frame. And you can generate another video from this last frame. Okay, so here's the longer video with the shorter audio.
Welcome to the Velvet algorithm, where strategy isn't stiff, it's sensual, and scaling doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be a line. I'm your host, Solène Lux.
Great. So we're going to download this and we're going to head back to CapCut. Now, that is only the beginning of creating the podcast. Again, you can generate B-roll of the character. You can create different versions of her movement, different versions of her body language, all within Higgsfield. I would suggest generating the whole script first. So that way, when you're listening to it, you know what type of body language goes with what. You can also have ChatGPT do it. So ChatGPT can write the full script for the episode and then align it with the action prompts for that specific piece of the episode. If this is your first time doing it, it may take you a little bit of time to build the first episode. But yes, if you want great quality, it will take a little bit of time. If you don't like how your character came out, or you want her to have a different hair color, you want the background to look different, make sure you clarify that at the beginning of this process, because once you start creating and generating videos, it's going to be a little bit harder to start all over again because you're going to feel like that work was wasted, which in actuality is not wasted work. It's just getting those reps in. You're learning how to do this from scratch. So take your time and don't rush it. Actually try to get the character that you want, get the movements you want out of Higgsfield, get the voice and audio you want out of 11 Labs, and just really pay attention to the way your persona is coming across with your character. And keep on consulting ChatGPT or whatever conversational tool that you're using, because it can help you make sure you're staying aligned with the path and the persona of your specific podcast.
You heard it here first.
Now here's the thing. You can watch tech change the game, or you can be the one changing it.
Kimberly, is there anything you'd like to add before we sign off?
I think we pretty much covered it throughout the whole episode, but I do want to say, make sure you remember that it is AI, okay? Sometimes it's not going to give you the results that you want right away. Stick with it, keep going, keep trying. You refine, redo, and keep going, okay? The goal is to convert it to something that you're going to use, sell, create with. And honestly, I am grateful that I'm the first guest on you guys' podcast. I can't wait to see where it goes, because this is nuts, right? But again, thank you for having me as a guest, and I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye.
So now you've seen what's possible. Not just what AI can create, but what you can create with it.
From prompts to podcast hosts, from idea to episode. This show was made without a camera crew, without a studio, but with vision, systems, and strategy.
Control Freak isn't just a podcast. It's where creators go when they're done winging it.
So here's what I want you to do. If this episode gave you game, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment sharing what you've learned. Send it to someone who's stuck on the sidelines, and check the show notes if you want Kimberly's full tool stack.
Next week, we're diving deeper into the tech, strategy, and mindset that lets creators build smart, not burn out.
Until then, take control.